Hello, I'm Coercer, and we are watching the finals of ArtifactCup number 26. And BBI Iain and I have been duking it out in this best of 5 series, and the score is now 2-2. So whoever wins this next match will win the tournament. Let's see now. BBI Iain, yes. Boneyard. So this last game will be played on the Boneyard. I'm playing as the Galcian and BBI Iain is playing as the Coalition. And Iain is being quite confident in his last few games. He just knows what he needs to do and does it. So we'll see how he'll start this game. Now let's just look at the production, reveal all. So we'll be watching this from Iain's point of view. He has spawned in as the Coalition here in the south, and I am up in the north as the Galcian. Now, once again, I'm producing salvagers from both my carrier and my production cruiser to get my mining up as soon as possible. Iain is once again not retiring his base runner, deciding to go for an early artifact grab, and Iain is mining from his RU pile, so he should be going for AAVs or an AAV opener momentarily. I have started mining from the first bulkhead, and Iain has just started his AAV fabrication deck, and he's building another salvager which he will use to open up his first bulkhead. So nothing much is happening at the moment, so I can talk a bit about the map. Now the Boneyard is an interesting map. It basically has a few lanes where units can move through or clump through, and there are quite a few terrain features like these buildings and these abandoned vehicles all around the map that serve as sight blockers. So Iain has sent out a probe to see what I'm up to. He also has an LAV out in the field, and that probe goes down to the production cruiser. Not sure how much information Iain got from that. Iain is not yet fully mining from his first bulkhead, but he is producing AAVs. His first AAV has just finished production, and Iain should grab this artifact as soon as it pops. There we go, and he now moves his base runner to his extraction zone. And also, since he picked up that ping with the base runner, he moves in his LAV to take out my scanner, so I won't know if anything is going on in this particular area of the map. Iain immediately sends out his AAV to my expansion. He saw with the probe that I have salvagers there, that I have a production cruiser there, so he is looking to deal damage to my expansion or to my main. But it looks like his first target will be my first expansion. Units can also move through this ditch here, which is quite handy for light units like LEVs and sand skimmers. They can dip in and strike out on the other side. And the rail guns are not quite as effective as they are on other maps. Of course, if you manage to take advantage of these side blockers all around here, this middle area. I lose the sand skimmer to Iain's AAVs, and Iain now has 3 AAVs moving directly for my salvaging operation. Now I've already opened up the second bulkhead, and I'm mining RUs from that one. I have another production cruiser on the field. Iain is upgrading his carrier production and building a support cruiser at the same time. So he is getting up his economy, and I just managed to build a heavy railgun as those AVs start harassing my position. That railgun deals quite a lot of damage to those AVs. Of course, it has taken some damage itself, and Iain places down some good smoke to prevent that heavy railgun from having a direct line of sight. And now with those two heavy railguns out, Iain decides to move away from my position. He could, of course, try and rush the heavy railguns, but he decides not to risk it. I am moving out with my carrier, since one of my production cruisers has taken up position in the main, and Iain is moving his support cruiser to his first expansion. Iain is now also trying to scout around in my base, and since that LAV saw that my carrier is not in the base, Iain should have a pretty good idea that my carrier is causing trouble somewhere on the map. Iain, let's see, he has researched railgun fabrication, so he should be producing them momentarily. His AVs are back on his side of the map. I'm just building base runners so I can capture these artifacts as soon as they pop up, so I can power up my carrier. And Iain is now indeed building railguns from his carrier. He has 2 production queues, so he should be able to build those quite smoothly. Now his 2 LAVs are now out in the middle of the map. They're going to take out the scanner I placed there. In the meantime, I'm trying to position my forces so they are as effective as they can be. And one of my base runners has picked up an artifact, and my second base runner is going to arrive just in time to pick that one up. But now Iain is also moving out with 2 LAVs, 2 AAVs, a LAV, and 3 railguns. And he's going to try and intercept that base runner so it doesn't capture that artifact. Now instead, I think he will be able to kill this base runner. That one should be able to make it. It is hidden by that dune, and it should capture the artifact without much trouble. In the meantime, Iain is distracting me by poking in with those LAVs everywhere he can. The first base runner captures the artifact, and Iain will now blow up my second base runner without much trouble. Those railguns just obliterating it. I have 2 heavy railguns and 2 assault railguns moving about on the field, and 2 heavy a heavy railgun and an assault railgun on guard duty. And now Iain is looking to eliminate the base runner that managed to capture an artifact. So the score is now 2-1 in Iain's favor, and Iain's LAVs are still alive. His probe is providing vision of what I'm doing in my expansion, and he is definitely being a nuisance there. And my carrier is hanging out behind that dune, waiting for a good opportunity to move out and maybe catch those railguns if they get too close. Now the heavy railguns are busy shooting at the only thing they can shoot at a LAV, and yeah, as you can see, LAVs are quite the target for heavy railguns. They have a lot of trouble targeting them, but a heavy railgun does get lucky and takes out that LAV. And Iain is now retreating those AAVs so he doesn't lose them. Iain has 6 railguns moving about on the field, and he is now building a lot of LAVs, presumably because he's seen that I have railguns on the field and I don't have any assault ships out on the ground, so he will be taking advantage of that. Those LAVs have, of course, been raiding my economy all the time. Now that the assault railgun will finally deal with those LAVs, or it might even get killed by that LAV, since the LAV has started circling the assault railgun, and that usually means the assault railgun won't make it. Iain is now moving in with his forces, those 6 railguns, now in the middle of the field. My carrier is just sitting there while those heavy railguns manage to fire a few pot shots at those forces before that sand skimmer gets taken out. And Iain has also picked up the middle artifact. Well, no, the right or left artifact, depends on how you look at it. And he is going for another artifact capture. Iain spots my carrier, and those railguns immediately open fire, taking out a chunk of my health. And I'm in a bit of a bad position. I have a missile ship on the field in case Iain goes for air, which Iain did not do. He is focusing on just building up an AAV and the railgun army, and now he is moving in with his AAVs so they can tank the shots from the carrier from my railguns, and so his railguns can have free reign and can kite my carrier around before my carrier can get in range and deal damage. Iain has captured another artifact, so the score is now 3-1, and I'm attempting to do what Iain did to me earlier, just 2 sand skimmers causing trouble for his expansion, and I have in the meantime constructed interceptors which should be able to deal quite some damage to that support cruiser. The sand skimmers are also shooting it, so those 3 interceptors should provide enough damage to take it out. And yes, the support cruiser goes down. Now LAVs can shoot at air, so if those interceptors hang around for too long, they can be taken out, and the interceptors retreat directly over those missile ships, and both of those interceptors get taken out, and I'm left with 1 interceptor. In the meantime, Iain is building up a lot of railguns. He has 14 railguns out on the field, and he knows that I have invested into my carriers, and he is just making sure that I'm afraid of moving out with my carrier. And if Iain manages to spot my carrier, it should be insta-gibbed by this force of railguns, if they can take if they can land sufficient firepower on it for or at least a couple of volleys on it. And my carrier is now quite exposed, but I did put a lot of energy into those range systems, and the weapons are now level 2, so I am taking out a few of these railguns. But now all of these railguns have a clear line of sight on my carrier, and my health immediately drops to half health, and I dump energy into speed to get away from those railguns. If my carrier hung around there for too long, it could be taken out very quickly. I managed to sneak a base runner around while all of that was happening, and I'm now capturing my 2nd artifact, so that should provide some more power for my carrier. Switch power to the regeneration systems, so my carrier will repair itself over time. And at this point in the game, I am very scared of Iain's railgun force, and don't even dare to move out anywhere on the map, even though I could probably sneak around here and maybe directly engage his carrier. But Iain, of course, has powered up his carrier. He has research power reserve 3, but he has also captured 3 artifacts, so he has quite a few power levels available to him. And Iain has now decided to move in and attack my mining operations, while also moving in on the other side with his carrier, effectively boxing me in my corner of the map, while he uses his base runner to capture another artifact in the meantime. Now these units are clumped up quite nicely, and if I had any siege technology, or if I would have already researched power reserve 5, I could have just launched a missile barrage and probably taken out quite a chunk of those forces. My carrier manages to take out a unit of Iain's, and now Iain has 2 clumped up forces on the field, and his carrier is providing some vision and basically a blockade for my forces, so I can't just move around on that side of the map. Altogether, Iain has 16 railguns out on the field and 3 missile batteries, so that's quite a scary force. And I am smushed in here into my corner. I don't really know what's going out on the map except for the scanner, and I have no idea how many forces Iain has available to him. Now, since my carrier has healed up, I plop down a scanner here in the middle, so my carrier gets some vision, and it can now open fire on Iain's forces. Now, unfortunately, my carrier decides to shoot at the missile battery first, and all of those railguns are so low on health. If those missiles would hit them, all 3 of those railguns would go down at the same time. And Iain also moves in on the other side with another railgun force, and we basically have a railgun fight here right behind my carrier, while Iain is now moving in with his own carrier. He has 6 power available to him, and my carrier now is retreating back. I need to stop the advance of his carrier so he doesn't just move in and take out my resourcing operations or take out my production cruisers. Now Iain has powered up all of his systems. He has 5 power levels, or he had 5 power levels in his weapon systems, so that allowed him to deal 65% increased damage. Now he fully powered his reactive armor system, and his carrier will now tank almost all the damage that I can throw at him. His carrier has been brought down to half health, but Iain's railguns in the middle of the field there are all concentrating fire on my carrier, and I'm barely limping away from that, pumping energy into the regeneration system so I don't get killed by those railgun volleys, and I just managed to sneak out of line of sight or out of range of those railguns, so I don't lose my carrier right there and then. Iain has a massive force right on my doorstep. He has 15 railguns ready to fire at my carrier, while my railguns are just barely able to take some pot shots at his forces. Of course, as soon as my heavy railgun reveals itself, Iain's railguns open fire and nearly kill it. I've lost basically my entire army. I have no air units. I'm slowly regenerating my carrier, and Iain is free to mine from all of his expansions, and this game is pretty much up to him now. I managed to capture another artifact in the meantime, so the score is now 4-3, but Iain has now decided to go and pick up another artifact with his base surrender, and he's going to move that to his extraction zone, and I pretty much can't do anything about that. His force is right in the middle. I can't move my carrier past that. I can't move any of my forces past that. Of course, I have built up some sand skimmers because I've seen that he has mainly railguns in his force, but that won't be enough at this point. I launch the Gaussian carrier's missile ability, and that takes out most of Iain's army with those AoE attacks. And at this point I actually think that I might still have a chance if I take out that force and maybe manage to DPS down Iain's carrier, but that base runner has been moving towards that extraction zone steadily, and my sand skimmers will not arrive there in time to take it out. And even though I've caught up with his carrier, I've taken out his army, Iain captures the final artifact and wins the game, and also wins the Artifact Cup. Well, congratulations to Iain. He played well in these matches. Now, I was really scared when I went into this matchup, because I feel and I know that Iain is a better player than I am, and I was actually surprised that I was able to then win 2 consecutive matches, but then my overconfidence got to me. I lost that game, and now I have also lost this matchup. Well, congratulations again to BBI Iain, and I am recording this on Friday, and actually tomorrow the Artifact Cup number 27 will take place, so if you're interested, you should come check it out. I'll put up a link down in the description so you can see the sign up page, and if you're interested, come over, take a look at it, and I'll also put a link in the description to the Homeworld Universe Discord server, so if you're looking for some matches, or if you're just looking to chat about the Homeworld games, you can also join the community there. And well, hopefully we'll see you on the field and in the chat, and thank you again for watching. This concludes my cast of Artifact Cup number 26, and hopefully we'll see each other or well, you'll listen to me as I cast the next Artifact Cup.